Have you ever considered buying an RV, or maybe you have rented a vehicle of this sort but didn't quite like it? Is there such a thing as a perfect camper van? Today I'm exploring 6 ways to get into camper vanning of sorts. Maybe you're doing it wrong. Let's go, let's find out. Let me start by saying that I haven't tried all types of camper vans, but based on past experience, I can describe some basic pros and cons of each of the type listed here. And the first one on the list is actually just a rooftop tent. In recent years, I started seeing these tents pop up, pun intended, all over the place. It's no longer just for safari enthusiasts who chose to sleep on the roof in fear of encountering venomous snakes, insects, and some other wild animals. Today, a rooftop tent can cost as little as €1,000 or more or less, or you can rent one for probably a few dozen euro a day, although there may be some required minimum rent period. Now, I happen to like the concept of sleeping on the roof, but it is not a pastime for everyone. Pros. The entire interior of the car can be occupied by passengers and luggage, possibly maybe a built-in kitchenette. More on that in a moment. Cons, there is more drag, more noise, and fuel economy goes down the drain. Also, you may have to drive slower as specified by the tent or roof rack manufacturer, and you'll need to climb up a ladder to the tent and also climb down. And heating and cooling may also be an issue. Now, before you decide that your whole family will sleep on the roof of the car, check the maximum dynamic and static roof load of your car. So that means how heavy the tent can be while driving and how much weight can the roof take when the car is parked. Also, consider how the tent folds. The bigger ones usually come with some sort of tarp cover, whereas the smaller ones come in easier to manage clamshells. Now, this may also impact the price. Another way to go about a camper vanning experience is a so-called camper box. It's probably something like a bunch of drawers that you pull out of the boot, like a cooking station, and it's mounted to the floor of the boot. And in the simplest form, that's it. In the more complicated version, you also get like a fold-out bed over the second row of seats. Prices of a kit like that may start about €1,000, but it all depends on the quality and the options you choose. You can see a part of this kit on Automoto Vlog channel. A few years ago, I was there with a Toyota Pro Ace with a camper van, or camper box rather, conversion. This kind of kit can be designed for a specific body style, like a estate or a van, minivan, bigger van, whatever. And if you want to spend the night there, you need to make sure that there is enough length for the bed. Now, I've seen projects on YouTube where there's so little space that you have to like push the front seats all the way forward, etc. Now, of course, you can buy a whole car with a factory conversion like this, like the Volkswagen Caddy California. Pros. Everything inside the car is inside, and from the outside it doesn't stand out. However, after a vacation, a kit can be usually removed from a car and stored until the next trip. Cons. You sleep on a raised bed, so lower cars, it's difficult to sit when you have to like change your clothes. Climbing onto a bed is not easy as well. Now, some kits go as far as adding a little dining area, but most require cooking and eating outside, so if the weather is bad, you might need some additional tent. Which brings us to vans that have somehow been adapted for temporary housing. Now, I'll split these into 2 categories. The first include cars like the Mercedes Vito or the Volkswagen Transporter that have camper versions known as the Marco Polo and the California. Some other brands also offer similar solutions, either as factory or local conversions. The prices for a factory camper start at around €70,000, but spend a few minutes with a configurator and you're up in the 100K region. A conversion can cost less, but first of all, you need a car for your base, and then everything depends on the investor's imagination and financial means. If you have the idea, the time, and the enthusiasm, you can probably save a lot of money by doing at least part of the conversion yourself. Pros: a relatively compact car and sufficient space inside for relatively comfortable shelter from the elements. Cons: with space at a premium, you have to commit. Either you want an RV or you want a cement hauler. And regardless of what the manufacturer claims in their brochures, it's still a comfortable solution for 2 people, not for 4. The comment section is yours if you think otherwise. Now, the next item on the list are larger camper vans, something like a Mercedes Sprinter or a Volkswagen Crafter. This is a very popular base for a conversion because it doesn't actually require you to cut a hole in the roof for the pop-up tent. Prices for a factory Grand California start around €75,000, but again, you are likely to go up to €120,000 when you are done with the options. Pros: size. Cons: size. Let me elaborate. A vehicle this size can usually accommodate not only a kitchenette, but even a bathroom. And finally, you have decent place to sleep 4 people without having to transform the interior every time you move the car. Now, unfortunately, an RV bathroom is still mainly an emergency solution. A quick home shower is about 25 liters of water, by the way, if you didn't know. So even if you can go faster, just splash yourself with water, turn off the tap, put some soap, then rinse, you still use about 10 liters. 1 person, 1 shower, 4 of you, and in one evening you use like 40 liters plus whatever goes down in the kitchen. Half a tank of fresh water and, probably a full tank of grey water, and you have to dump that somewhere. I won't even mention the size of the bathroom and heating of the water. So an RV this size is best used, I think, at a campground where you can connect to water and electricity, as well as use the sewage facilities. But since you're at a campground, you may just as well use the public toilet and shower there. Also, maneuvering a large van can be problematic, especially on narrower roads like somewhere in those picturesque Italian towns rather, and shorter drivers can't reach the pedals. We had this problem with Anna in a Crafter-based camper van. As far as larger vehicles or motorhomes are concerned, they are, in my opinion, even more difficult to get around. There are 2 types, the semi-integrated and the integrated motorhomes. In the former, you can still recognize the base, while in the latter, you just get a house on wheels, basically. Now, I'm sure that they have some die-hard fans, especially in the US, where there seems to be much more space for motorhomes to drive and camp around in. Now, interestingly enough, semi-integrated motorhomes are often not much more expensive than something like the Grand California, but they offer significantly more interior space, leaving the integrated motorhomes as the expensive choice, where spare parts can cost a lot more, as they may be specific to one brand and one model. A campervan is an interesting form of recreation. For some, it's a way to explore new places. For others, it's a hotel, always in the best location. Do you have experience with campervans? Do you own one, or maybe you rented one? Is it a regular part of your vacation or more of a one-time adventure? Let me know in the comment section below this video. Also, I make new listicles every last Friday of the month. If you have an idea for a list I should make, drop me a comment. Maybe it'll be the topic of one of the next episodes. If you like my sarcastic, down-to-earth and possibly mildly amusing car reviews, join me every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video, as it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.